Hello, Happy New Year's, or Happy New Year's Eve out there. I am Matt Moody, and I am joined by DJ Mitchell as we go through the New Year's Eve NHL Daily Fantasy Slate.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
DJ, today is not a great day to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but it is a great day to be a Buffalo Sabres fan. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I was getting ready, and I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I was feeling really good. And my buddy called me. I guess our friend called me and was like, "Hey, like, what's up? Like, drive in. Like, were they announcing the USA team today?" And I'm like, "Hold on, yes, but." And then just as they announced Team Canada. So, did you see the Canadian roster get announced before we started?
I did. They're not announcing USA until Friday.
Well, color me stupid. I thought it was today.
Yep. You are a liar.
So I am. Any instant reactions live on air?
Well, I mean, if you're in the Discord, you already know my reaction. It feels like Canada actually wants to win. Now, are they a bit misguided in how to win? Maybe, but I do not think the USA is interested in winning. They are interested in losing by as little as possible. So we'll see what the final roster looks like. But all inclination is that like Jason Robertson won't be attending the Olympics, which is fucking insane. So
that is, yeah. Truthfully, like I said this to my friend on the phone. I was like, every single person should be fired if Robertson doesn't make the team. Like I again, big Sabres fan here. Tage not making the team I'd be very sad. Be happy I didn't buy the jersey of Tage Thompson yet. Waiting to see him actually make it. But like, you can't leave Robertson off this team. You can't do it. It should be against the law. Like, can't do it. Can't happen. And I'm a Cole Caulfield believer and a fan. Not even in the realm of possibility. It feels like that he makes the team. There's, of course, at the end of the day, a couple guys got to get left off. It's a really good team, and it's going to go out there. But like, if we see JT Miller and Vinny Trocheck and Brock Nelson, and you give those three over, Tage, Robertson. Again, I'm saying Caulfield, but I will put that one aside. It's just going to be a very sad day for me.
Yeah, I think J-Rob is the only guy that I'm truly upset about. Like if Tage, I honestly maybe Caulfield, but if Tage doesn't make it, like I don't think Tage is all that like great on an international stage. Like I don't know. I don't think that he's like some glaring oversight. Like,
of course, it's more of the Sabres fandom. Like I truthfully, you're saying out loud, the quiet part out loud here. Like I am being a homer here, I think, a little bit with the whole Tage thing, but I also think that like there is something to okay, this is what I said to my friend, and maybe it's not completely true for Tage, but it's kind of true for Tage. Like, also, is there noise in the background? Do you hear
it? One sec. No. I can shut a door.
No, I'm saying from me.
Oh, no, I don't hear anything.
Okay, perfect. The thing about that I don't again, and this is coming from someone that plays hockey at the lowest possible level imaginable, but watching hockey and watching some of these players, like the way you defend a Connor Bedard, a Tage Thompson, is you make sure you don't make a mistake against them, because if you do, they can take advantage of it. And when you can put more of those guys on the ice that are very difficult to defend, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want more of those and make it more difficult to defend the entire roster at all times. And like, why there's this necessity to bring a bunch of players that fit some sort of a role, like bring as many players that are as difficult to defend as possible. Like why isn't that the biggest, nomenclature, or the biggest, like watch the teams defend Tage Thompson and give him space and give him time to make things happen. Is he as good at making them happen as others? No, but that's Connor Bedard. And really that's today my biggest frustration. Maybe the injury is worse than we thought. Maybe he won't be fully healthy. I don't know. But not bringing Connor Bedard, if I'm in Canada, I am just beside myself. Like this, they could have had, of course, if Bedard didn't get injured, the top 4 point producers in the league. Points per game wise, he's right there.
This is the NHL. I don't know. These are the people in charge. We know this. Like, I'm not going to be mad about something that we know is going to be the case. Like that, they're just going to pull this. I don't really. I can't find it in me to be super upset about that, just because they think they know how to win hockey games and they're executing on it. I think that when the USA says, grit, grind, whatever, and then they don't take Jason Robertson, it's like, well, he's massive. He wins puck battles more than like any player in the fucking league, and he can shoot the hell out of the puck without being a negative defensively. It's like he's what you want to bring. Instead, you're bringing guys here like Kreider, and honestly, Brock Nelson's been way better than JT Miller this year. So I refuse to say Brock Nelson doesn't deserve to be on the team, but
he's fine. I'm not. I'm not even sitting here saying like you couldn't bring Brock Nelson. I guess that's again, but like bringing Brock Nelson over, Jason Robertson it's unbelievable to me. Like I do not understand like how you do it, but we don't need to go into too much Team USA stuff till we get that. I mean, overall, I think Team Canada did most of the right things last year. My one big, like not bringing Logan Thompson last year was leaving the best goalie at home. I still believe that. I still believe he is, should start for them. I think, it's just Bedard. That's really the only thing that I'm going to be mad about. Like, I definitely would have brought Tom Wilson, and as we're sitting here saying, like, you don't need those, like, Tom Wilson is not just that guy. He's not just a grinder. He's not just a fourth liner. Like, he has been every bit the part of a legitimate, impactful player in all aspects. So I like what Canada did other than Bedard. I think you could get by without it, because I think USA is going to shoot themselves in the foot and then say, well, we could put out the bleeding, or we could shoot ourselves in the other foot. And then they're going to shoot the other foot.
Well, it's like they're saying, well, we think we can, we want them to say, we think we can beat Canada. And they're like, well, we think we cannot lose to Canada. And that's how they're designing their team, and whatever. That's the little brother syndrome. So
it's just the wrong way of going about it.
Thank you, Tom and Shams here for chiming in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all right. Everyone here is obviously right.
JT Miller is going to make the team because Mike Sullivan is the coach of USA. I mean, Hagel, Sorelli, and Point make Canada because
you can't say that, because Adam Fox seems like he's on the outs. So I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I would say Hagel should make the team, and I would say Sorelli is a borderline case. But like Braden Point over Connor Bedard is just fucking stupid. I mean, that is incorrect. That's a wrong take. It's a bad one, but they haven't paid me any money yet to make Team Canada. So
the last few years do matter. Like, I don't know. We can't just say, well, here's a snapshot in time of this season and whatever. Okay, we have games to get to. There's a game ongoing right now, Rangers Washington, but I am prepared for the afternoon slate. So
well, let's just get right into it.
Reporting is it's between Fox and Hannafin, and I'll tell you who I think the USA likes more.
Yeah, well, they heard that he got married at the same venue as me. They thought he must have something wrong with him, and makes sense to me. Okay, really quickly, slate overview: Nashville and Vegas in a 6.5, with, as of course, a Marc Desault revenge narrative. Then you think, well, surely the afternoon slate couldn't all be gangbuster 6.5s. Oh wait, Minnesota, San Jose. Yeah, of course it's Minnesota, San Jose in another cocaine circus. Of course. I wrote down a revenge narrative, but it's not coming to me. It's a cocaine circus because the Sharks are playing in it. Matt, what's going to happen? You know what? Let's sit here for a second. And I want you to tell me that fucking the San Jose Sharks aren't going to score 5 fucking goals on 2 shots.
Yeah, but it's not not cocaine or a circus if they just roll over and play dead and wait for Macklin Celebrini to conjure the magic potion.
It is a drug-induced coma heroic. I don't even know.
Did Jake Middleton come from San Jose?
That sounds right. We can go with it. Why not? We can look that up later. It's not. I mean, Brent Burns. There you go. Brent Burns narrative. Easy. Okay. And then finally, to close off the afternoon slate, it is Tampa Bay versus the Anaheim Ducks. Could be a Corey Perry revenge narrative if he still played for Tampa. There's probably someone else. Alex Killorn. There we go. I was like, I am missing someone obvious right now. Yep, Alex Killorn as well. 3 games afternoon. I think you just want to start there, and then we'll dive back in and we'll kind of recap the late games. Or do you want me to continue? Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, there's obviously not huge DFS contests for the afternoon slate, but I do think these games are incredibly interesting. So I am kind of prepared to talk about them, so I want to do so. Starting off with Nashville here, same lines for them, meaning no Jonathan Marchessault, so he's still injured to the point where he can't play, I guess, which definitely sucks for him. But because that is one of the true revenge narratives in the league right now. But Stamkos, O'Reilly, Forsberg have been unbelievable this year, and the only thing that really takes away from that is Vegas will be getting back Jack Eichel. It sounds like it's not 100% confirmed, but it seems very likely based on practice yesterday. But Stamkos, O'Reilly, Forsberg have been legitimately awesome. I think it was Adam Vingan posted about it the other day, maybe yesterday, about Stamkos's revival, like in-season turnaround. And yeah, here we go. Just gonna drag this over from Adam here because it's really fascinating. Okay, open image and new tab. Drag it on over here. So Steven Stamkos obviously came to Nashville and completely flopped. You could make a very strong argument that it was because there's no Nikita Kucherov in Nashville, which I would tend to buy. And so those shots that he was getting, cross the Royal Road and like basically one-timer shots, they just weren't as efficient when, it was Ryan O'Reilly or Forsberg trying to feed him on the power play. And the 5-on-5 play just wasn't, coming around. And we had seen that in Tampa as well. And so you look at last year, and I'm not going to read all these numbers, but basically they're garbage. And he started off the year, and he was, again, garbage. But Stamkos is one of the greatest shooters of our entire generation. We go through 15 years of the NHL, and I can't think of 5 better shooters, pure shooters than Steven Stamkos. And that is one of the last things to go as a hockey player. In the last 16 games, he has like quadrupled his inner slot shots, meaning he's actually getting to the net front. And because he's Steven Stamkos, he's scoring on those shots. And so you look at all of his stats have gone up. His expected goals per game have doubled. It is an incredible turnaround for Stamkos. And I do want to make sure we're not just zooming past that because, I was like, well, Steven Stamkos sucks now, 2 months ago, because something has clearly changed here. And it does seem like O'Reilly, Forsberg are the right line mates for him. So everything else on Nashville, I don't really care about. I'm not buying Roman Josi until we see it again, I think, because he had a good game last time out.
Can I make the bull case here?
Okay.
I think the bull case on Roman Josi is really less to do with how good he's becoming and more to do with them finding the right partner for him. Like, I think Nick Perbix is the right partner. He's better than Brady Shea. He's not a defensive liability like Adam Woolsby. I really, really like that pairing. And I think that they've also gone to one true top power play, which we see now. Like, I think a big part of it is the Stamkos of it all and sort of that line coming together and playing really well and sort of needing to continue that on the power play, which has worked. And feeding Stamkos is a big part of it. But like, that is the bull case here. That's 6 defensemen. It's not 7. That was a big problem with playing Roman Josi in the past. The shot volume is really high, but more so, I just think the 5-on-5 numbers with Perbix are what actually get me excited. Looking over this entire slate of action, there's quite a few guys over the last 5 that have pretty high shot numbers, but Roman Josi's right up there, almost 7 per game at 6.8 the last 5. And I know it's a smaller sample size, but I like to try to include a lot of the games after the break because if I can, and sort of just, that normally does lead to more volume in general. But Roman Josi is someone I'm interested in, probably more in a betting capacity. He's minus 105 for a point on DraftKings. That's right around all-time low stuff. Not that Vegas is a team I like to target, but I have liked to target them more. If they get Eichel back, that is a change. That is something that will impact the bottom line, but I don't think it impacts it so much that I couldn't consider going the Nashville route with just how good they're playing. Is there anything you want to add to everything?
I mean, the other nonsense is that with Eichel back, Vegas is stacking their top line with some absolute garbage and Braden Bowman. So Vegas has already not been playing well. Some of this includes Eichel games. It's not like they went half a season without Jack Eichel. It was only a handful of games. and they are below average in terms of expected goals and actual goals against at 5-on-5 because their goalies have not been good. So yeah, I do like this natural side. I think you're right on Roman Yossi, especially if the betting markets are reacting as such.
Yeah,
We
but,
see
yeah,
we see the DraftKings price at 6,100, and it's very different. I think setup wise, when
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes is not much more expensive, for example.
I think minus 105 is the best offered, and it's on DraftKings. Just double checking because Score stopped loading into unabated when they switched, but it's probably right around there. And I think that's my favorite bet in this game for a point. They have it at minus 105. So I do think that's the best line you're going to find. And I do the other kind of like I'm mentioning, but like the power play point numbers for all of these guys have been pretty nuked. Mainly because they haven't been running one true power play, but like Stamkos for a power play point plus 310. Evangelista plus 380. Like that is a these are guys that are on a top unit that is actually performing. I mean, even fucking Philip Forsberg plus 270. Like any of these guys, if you clicked on him, I wouldn't think you're an idiot. Either.
Getting to Vegas, Tom says, unfortunately, Bowman is a Canadian, I believe, so can't be paired with Eichel at the Olympics. That is true. I believe the Joey Decord rule is in place where the USA is rushing to the border to get the paperwork signed so that they can bring Bowman with Jack Eichel. So Barbashev, Eichel, Bowman will be their top line. Eichel's at 8,500, 15K that top line is at, sure. 15K for the second line, Marner, Howden, Stone. Marner and Stone were really good together. Obviously, Marner was playing center with Barbashev on his wing there, so it's a little bit different with Howden in. I'm guessing that Hurdle didn't get a suspension, right? He just got ejected, and that was that.
99.9% he's 100%
I'm
back.
pretty sure I would have seen that. Yeah. Okay. Hurdle, Dorofeyev, Holtz.
It works every time.
Yeah. I'm assuming they go back to a 5-forward power play one instead of having Hanif in there. So, Dorofeyev, Hurdle, Holtz should get depth matchups of Nashville. Now, that also means they'll get way fewer minutes than past games. Well, Hurdle helped himself to an early exit last game, but in general, they were getting 14, 15 minutes with Eichel in, and without him, they were up at like 18, 19. So keep that in mind. However, the power play gets better with Eichel, so maybe it's a balance out. I think Holtz keeps a power play 2 job unless they want to give it to Brett Howden. Like they took Riley Smith out of this lineup, so he's the only other guy who I think could be power play 2. So I think Holtz is still kind of in play because if you like Alex Holtz, I don't think it's because you're expecting him to play 18 minutes in a game. So 14, 15 does work if he's with a good line and good matchups and getting some power play time. So I'm not that interested in Vegas, but I do think this game in general is interesting, just relative to the other two. I'm not sure I'm all the way there.
I agree with everything you're saying. I think there's pieces I like here, but I'm not sure if anything I'm incredibly strong on. I just, the only thing I'd raise to you is like, if Eichel is in, does it make you like Dorofeyev has just not been scoring at the same rate, and that's kind of reflected, I feel like, in some of his pricing, especially when it comes to like his goal scoring odds have gone up to almost like 2-1. Like, is that something that you think actually like is impactful of Eichel being on that top power play and Dorofeyev being maybe a bit more of a an option?
I'm not particularly inclined to say that this is like a great betting spot for Dorofeyev, especially if it's not even 2-1. Is that what you said?
It's plus 190 shots. Yeah. Also, I mean, minus 120 seems like the best odds ish for 2.5. And like even in that last game, like he only had, I believe, maybe he had 3, but he had like 10 attempts. Another guy that's like way up there on the shot volume, over the past few. Not insane. It's not to the but 6 point is the same as Roman Yossi at 6.8 over the last 5, and like that, again, I was trying to pick out my favorite bets as well. I think DFS wise, like I'm the least interested in this game in the mid slate. I like pieces as we're saying, and like I like Yossi and I like Stamkos, and I could just maybe go for a mini there. I'm not that interested in paying these prices for Vegas, but as a betting side of it, Yossi point or Dorofeyev shots are kind of the 2 I picked out.
I mean, I think if you like Dorofeyev shots, you should really like Mitch Marner shots for basically a full shot less. I don't know, minus 148 for it. Just seems like you're betting on the environment for Dora 5 in
More
that
than
case,
what the line
which
said here.
like
Yeah.
if the environment's good for Dora 5, it's
mean-
going to be good
I
for
mean,
Marner.
Yeah, Marner has been shooting more
Yeah.
and not getting the puck on net, and the opposite's been happening. I feel like for Mark Stone, I could consider it. I've gone to the Mitch Marner well and been burned. You know, I said this yesterday to somebody, like the Lane Hudson, Mitch Marners of the world. When like you watch them, if you watch them the whole game, they will have every opportunity to win that bet. They could have put 10 shots on goal if they wanted to. They just sometimes don't. And I don't know what goes into that. Maybe that, it's just a mentality that happens early and it never goes away. But Mitch Marner is just an infuriating player to bet on and lose in shot volume because he always has a chance to get there. But let's move over.
We made it through one game in 20 minutes. Jesus Christ, DJ.
I'm very proud of us. I'm proud of us. That's improvement. Tampa Bay, Anaheim.
We do not know their lines. We do know Eric Chernak is back. So I'm assuming Scott Sabrin went to IR. I'm guessing Dominic James comes in on the fourth line. But Kucherov, Point, Gonsalves, Gensel, Cirelli, Bjorkstrand is my best guess. And then obviously Mosier, Radish. I'm guessing Destu with Chernak, though it could be Destu, Lilleberg, and Carlisle Chernak. Like I think Brian McDonough was close, and then did he get re-injured or something? So it's possible that he's also back here. Well, let me just see.
Take a peek.
Okay, he got put on IR on Sunday, so I don't think he's eligible, but
I don't think so either.
whatever.
I'm pretty sure he got re-injured and is not going to play.
So-
But I reckon. We have to. I mean, where is Shams? Shams, tell us the answer to the questions. You always do.
We don't know
But
because it's a 4:00 game.
Shams always knows.
You're
We'll
putting
get it
too
in the
much
chat.
pressure on people, DJ.
I like to pressure makes diamonds, buddy.
So Anaheim, the Drew Hellison test seems to be in check once again because Radko Gudas did not skate yesterday due to his illness. I'm guessing he picked up the nasty flu that's going around, so it would make sense that he misses multiple games with it versus years past where it's kind of strange if someone misses multiple games due to illness. But because it's certainly not performance-based for Drew Hellison. He got flat benched last game. He did not play the third period in its entirety, which is right. I mean, they are 100% correct to do so. But yeah, it's unfortunate because I want to like Anaheim in this spot, but unfortunately the Drew Hellison test means Tampa Bay. So anything on Tampa stand out to you, DJ?
Yeah, it's expensive. Probably mainly warranted, but I do think we're starting to buy the absolute peak here. Oops, let me drop my mouse on the ground. That's going to help me look at things closer. I feel like we were just going to war that Nikita Kucherov was 1,000 too cheap. Well, he's come up 1,000 since then in about 10, 12 days. So now he's priced correctly, and I just don't really know why I'm gonna buy the peak here. Like, I'm not saying I'm more interested in the Ducks, but my biggest problem is that I'm playing Minnesota no matter what in daily fantasy, so I'm not affording Tampa Bay. That's just the way the news goes. So I don't like them more than Minnesota. That's going to rule them out. I do think that there's probably some bets to get to here, but do you have any thoughts on sort of my initial assumption?
No, I can't really get there on anything. Radish stuff maybe, but I don't know what the betting stuff looks like, and yeah, unless you had something off the quiver, I'd like to just keep moving.
Off the quiver. That's a good, fun new one. I don't think you've used before. Not expected by Wednesday. Thank you, Shams. See, Shams was right there for us, right there in the clutch. Just when we needed him most, he comes up clutch, as expected. I also just realized I didn't reserve any entries for the daily fantasy slate for the afternoon game, and there is almost nothing left. So I'm going to click reserve quickly while we get over to Anaheim, and then we can talk bets.
Anaheim practiced yesterday, and they kept the same lines that they closed last game with: Cutter, Leo, Michael Granlund, Kreider, McTavish, Seneca, Nestorenko, Paling, Terry, Johnson, Strome, Killorn. Actually, I think these were lines. I think these were pairs in practice, but am I making that up? Maybe we only saw forward lines in practice. But I have Lacombe, Ian Moore, Zellweger, Trouba, Minchikov, Hellison. We did not see a power play 2 last game, so I don't know if it is Minchikov Zellweger or Trouba on the power play too. They've been using Trouba, so I think that's possible that he's there with one of Zellweger or Minchikov. But let me just... Yeah, okay. D pairs all rotated, so don't know what the actual pairings will be. By the way, that makes me like Jackson Lacombe. Unfortunately, Cutter's not on the top power play if last game is to be believed. But Mason McTavish and Seneca are. They are 8,600 between the two. McTavish looks pretty good as of late. And, you know, if Drew Hellison's getting the ire of Quenneville, like, is he really going to bench multiple players at a time? I don't think so. And McTavish has just been good. Like, I don't really think there's anything to, like, really say, like, oh, it's, you know, eruption waiting to happen as far as, like, the opposite, you know, negative stuff. So, you know, Gramlin sucks out loud, just brings Carlson and Cutter down in my book, and McTavish and Seneca are super cheap. So I'm inclined to go that route for DFS. And do you have anything else on the Anaheim you want to bring up?
I you know, I feel like this matchup is not as bad as maybe you would initially think for Anaheim. I don't think it's, you know, it's not the best in the world, but I think no matter what happens, well, let me start by saying this. I think Mason McTavish has continued to be the shot generator that we expected him to be before the season as of late. Over the past 5 games, 7.2 attempts per game, 50% of those getting on net. He's getting into dangerous areas and getting the puck, you know, on the goalie, which is great to see. You know, Seneca continues to be one of the most underpriced players as well. So even without Cutter on that line, I have no problem going there for a cheaper option to afford some of those, you know, better upper echelon stacks, or if game stack, like if you're going to play Tampa, you're kind of you know, opting into that second line. I think in a game stack, Jackson Lacombe is worthy of consideration, same way that I think, you know, Radish is a better play on the other side, but like both worthy of consideration. Cutter Gauthier has 9.6 attempts per game over the last 5, just absolutely ripping pucks on net, the most shots on goal for anybody on the entire slate over the last 5. It's real with him. And with Carlson and Granlund, I only think that gets a bigger boost. Like I just said, the shot share with Mason McTavish is taking a lot of those shots. I don't see that with Granlund and Carlson. So I like this side of the betting more from a shot perspective. I think I don't know if I like it from a DFS perspective. I'm indifferent, I think, because I just it's really hard to play anything without me that is going to be giga stacking Minnesota. But from the betting perspective, I do think there's some interesting notes here. And I don't know if there's really anything on the Tampa side that I'm like going to go to war for. Like no one on the team is shooting at a really high volume. Part of that can be score effects. So like if they get down, I'm sure Kucherov over 2.5 could get there. You know, Hagel has been injured in and out. Like there's some plus money. I do think you might just be right on it though. Like Darren Radish is pretty big plus money for 3 shots on goal. Like that could be the angle to take, or him for a point. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think there's a lot of clicks here in betting, but I just don't know which one is the correct answer. Do you have any thoughts before we move it over?
Radish at plus money seems right. I don't know. Cutter's been literally in the best possible game scripts and going against some god awful teams that they lost to. So
yeah,
I'm just
Radish over 2.5 is plus 150 for 2 or 3 shots. That's on DraftKings at least. I'm sure it might be better elsewhere. I will kind of scrape, but those are sort of the bets. We can move on to the final game.
Minnesota, San Jose. Minnesota, we expect them to keep Yurov on the top line. So Kaprizov, Yurov, Zuccarello, Boldy, Eriksson, Johansson, Tarasenko, Hartman, Hinostroza, Foligno, Sturm, Trenyan is what they used last game. Quinn Hughes, Faber are paired together. Quinn Hughes is, again, 600 more than Roman Josi, as I was saying, which to me makes the decision on where to spend at defense on this slate pretty easy between Radish and Quinn Hughes. Because we know Quinn Hughes has upside. He did not get there last game. You know, Minnesota scores 5 immediately on Vegas. He was not involved. The top line was pretty much uninvolved, I think, except for like a power play assist or something for Kaprizov there.
Yep.
So
you'll never guess who I stacked.
I'm aware of how that went on the late slate. So
it went well.
Yeah, I mean, they're against the Sharks, and the Sharks are awful. I mean, this PDO bender that Macklin's on has lasted half a season. It is insane. JFresh had an incredible visual of what that looks like relative to other historical anomalies, and like it makes those look tame as far as like PDO benders in the last 15 years. Um, so DJ, where do you like on Minnesota while I pull that up for Mr. Macklin Celebrini here?
I think it's pretty obvious that it's going to, well, you know what? I'll say this. I feel like it's obvious that it should come through the top six, although the third line with Hartman and Tarasenko is not the worst punt in the world. Like it is San Jose. It is going to be a San Jose matchup that will be good for them, I'm sure. Eriksson Ek will most certainly be seeing as much Macklin Celebrini as he can handle. It is in San Jose, so they can try to mix and match. But in general here, I will at least give them a singular flower because Ryan Hartman is a guy that, in a vacuum at this price, whatever. But with all that being said, it's really hard to go that route when either the top two lines have a punt to play with them. I mean, Johansson last game was kind of the guy you needed with Minnesota. 3 shots, 4 points, 13 and a half minutes, just, 31 DraftKings points. It's just skipping, hooting and hollering all the way down the line. I'm going to 5-man stack it. I'm considering how I could either play Johansson or Urov. I think I'm going Urov though, just playing full top line with Boldy and Eriksson Ek and 6-man actually with Quinn Hughes as well. I'm just going to go way overstack Minnesota, and I will let you tell me why the San Jose Sharks Fugazi may end up running out eventually.
I'm looking at this Mike Cat in the Discord. Jackson Lacombe is this year's Brandon Montour. Man, I'm trying to think, objectively instead of personally, because that feels like an affront as someone who loved Brandon Montour from the minute he stepped foot in the NHL versus Jackson Lacombe. But I don't know. I'll need to chew on that for longer. Thank you for that input, though. Really made me think. Anyway, here is a chart from JFresh showing the highest 5-on-5 on-ice shooting percentages in the advanced stats era, so basically 17 years at this point. 13% should have been the high water mark. Obviously, we know shooting percentage is up this year in general, but it's like, 0.5%. Macklin Celebrini is 4 percentage points higher than any other player in the recorded advanced stats era for on-ice shooting percentage at 5-on-5. Like, this is so unbelievably unsustainable that it is not even funny. The dude is on the ice for 8 shot attempts a game and 3 of them go in. Just every game. This is what happens. And it is killing me. Also, he's getting incredibly good goaltending, too. So we got like a 109 PDO. It is impossible to sustain.
Look on San Jose. Let's look at the lineup while we discuss.
And the process is so bad from these guys. I mean, they are doing nothing. They just got clowned by an Anaheim team that can't even hold water against teams when they're trailing, like Columbus and Dallas. And they got clowned by these guys with Drew Hellison in the lineup. Like, it is just holding on for their dear lives and hoping that the Celebrini magic carpet ride continues. And so far it has. So I don't really know what to do, but to say I'm not playing them at these prices. I think betting them to do anything but get points is silly because they're not controlling shot share at all. So, like, what are you really betting on? But yeah, any difference from you given the matchup or anything like that?
I mean, it's a bad matchup. Celebrini has reached the peak levels, as you're saying, of kind of everything culminating into one, point. He's 9,000 on DraftKings. He's way overproducing. I mean, he's not even overproducing, I guess, fantasy expectations because there's some really high shot volume games in that mix. But in reality, like, he's way overproducing what he should be. Now, great players do that. That's just sort of what great players are able to do because they're able to be better than everyone else. But I just am not going the San Jose route. I'm going to try to live to tell the tale. I just don't think there's anything interesting on this team really in any market. So like maybe an under, but
yeah, the other thing you just mentioned about great players, blah, blah, blah. Jay Fresh said, for context, neither Sidney Crosby nor McDavid have ever exceeded an 11.2 on ice shooting percentage in a full season. Macklin's at 17.5.
Yeah.
Like, this is 50% better than anything we should expect. And my God, it's just insane.
Yeah,
My
I
best
don't
ball bags
know.
are bleeding, believe it or not, as a result.
Yeah. I have some, but not enough. I the more I look through things, the more I'm just like, I'm not interested in anything San Jose wise at
All right.
all. I do find it kind of like funny, but it makes sense that, 2 points for Macklin and Kaprizov are like the exact same odds.
Mhm.
It's just like, God damn it. Like, I can't argue with it, but I'm definitely not clicking the Macklin side of it. Again, in daily fantasy, I think I've made it pretty clear. Like, Minnesota's my top stack on the mid games. Not really all that interested in stacking elsewhere, but I do like part of what's made stacking against San Jose so effective is that they get the lead. So I am hoping they find some magic early. I just hope it's not through Macklin Celebrini. It could be through anybody else. Just, you know what, Wenberg, why don't you score a goal? And then Minnesota can trail and they can take all the shots and then, claw their way back into the lead. And I can win the mid slate. Just, I think the most underpriced player on the slate could be Zuccarello. And I just don't even think he's going to be clicked all that often. He's playing all the minutes. His volume isn't great, but it's not terrible. And he is glued to Kirill Kaprizov. I also think I like him for a point, maybe more than anybody else. He's the same odds as Eric Sinek on DraftKings. And I get that that's sort of like it feels like one of those scenarios where, man, I get the recent run of Eric Sinek's been a bit better, but when you're glued to Kirill Kaprizov, I just go that route. I think 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's smart, and I agree on the pricing. And I'm looking at the shop props too, and yeah, pretty much same for me.
I am
on
going
Zuccarello.
to. So yeah, I think my 3 favorite bets in the early games are Yossi for a point, not Eric Sinek, Zuccarello for a point, and I really think it actually might be Cutter for shots. It's actually a bit lower than I thought. You can get it for minus 160 over 2.5, and plus 145 for 4. I mean, does that interest you at all, or do you think I'm maybe going a
No.
little too far over the last game?
Yeah, I don't trust Anaheim to do a shit ton here, and I think Tampa's really solid defensively. So I don't know.
Agree to disagree.
All right, let's get to the main show.
Okay.
6 games in the night slate here. Winnipeg, Detroit, or actually DJ. Do you have an overview for us?
An Andrew Kopp Bowl. I mean, we're really talking about the big guns are coming out tonight. I also Kyle Connor went to Michigan, I believe. So keep that in mind. I've actually, that is true. So keep that in mind as well when you're making your lineups. Game 2, I'm going to go in order of what the sportsbook has is New Jersey and Columbus. Damon Severson Bowl. Anybody out there looking at the Damon Severson Bowl that we have, at our fingertips at a grasp?
Miles Wood.
Miles Wood. Now I wasn't. I guess it's funny. I was surprised by this, but I guess maybe it's not as crazy. I think I forget just how bad the Devils have been because it's minus 102 Devils at Columbus, minus 118 on the Columbus side. Like, that just kind of surprised me a little bit. I know in the standings they're pretty close. I just think of the Devils as such a better team than Columbus, so that is what it is. Game 3, we have the greatest team of all time, the Buffalo Sabres, are playing the Dallas Stars in a 1999 Stanley Cup revenge narrative. Lindy Ruff, revenge narrative himself, coaching for both teams. So, what are you going to do about that? I don't know. Bet the Sabres, of course, obviously. Plus 130. They're never losing again. So we'll have put the life savings on it. That is the second highest total, I believe. Yeah, second highest total on the late games, because then we get into the St. Louis Blues and Colorado Avalanche. This team never loses. They're minus 340 favorites against the Blues in a 6.5. Is that surprising to anybody? Probably not. They're really good. They don't lose either. I would say that the Cup preview, Buffalo Sabres and Colorado, I can't wait to see that game come over over the wire. This is a revenge game for Matt. I send it to you. You got anything for me?
Eric Johnson.
Ooh, Eric Johnson. Why did I think there was a defenseman? I don't know. Could be wrong. I am wrong because I don't see anybody. Yep, Eric Johnson revenge game. Good shout. Good call. The final two games, the two games in Alberta, Boston is at the Oilers and a Trent Frederick revenge game. I think that's who I used last time, but I'm using it again because he's the most expensive player, I believe, in a revenge game ever in the history of revenge games. Big favorite for Edmonton, but it is the highest total of the after the late games. And finally, the Flyers and the Flames in the Farabee revenge game, in the Frost revenge game. They
Dan
traded a
Vladar.
player. Dan Vladar revenge game. I mean, there's just so many revenge narratives in this game that I don't know how you don't giga stack. Flyers on the back-to-back, lowest total, by not a substantial mile, but the lowest total nevertheless. So yeah, that's what we got. That's what we're getting. A lot of fun, a lot of good action. We start back in Detroit when you're ready.
Yeah, we were incredibly disappointed to learn there were no birthdays today for the new year. So that's why we're leaning extra hard into the revenge games today. Or the NHL just set it up because they wanted the New Year's kiss to be, between old foes.
Mr. Beat is Brett, by the way, who's joining because my sister just called me and I didn't answer and I sent her back that I'm recording. So Brett had to jump in.
Oh boy.
To say hello.
All right. Well, if you have any embarrassing DJ stories for the YouTube chat, now's the time with the most concurrent list. I think we have the most concurrence we've ever had. So shout out to the people watching.
Yeah.
Okay. Winnipeg at Detroit. Connor, Scheifele, Velarde, Perfetti, Taze, Iafallo, Barron, Lowry, Pearson, Niederreiter, Nemestikov, Gus Nyquist. Obviously the top line's the top line, and they thrive on efficiency. So even any volume concerns you might have don't really exist because this is what they do. 20.3K for this line, 32 expected fantasy points, 32 actual. So their production's been limited. It's really tough scenes in Winnipeg right now. One thing that I am sort of interested in is we've seen Gus Nyquist on the top power play. They moved Niederreiter, Nemestikov, Nyquist to a line, and I almost wonder if that'll be used as a second line at some point. Like Jonathan Taze has just been so bad, and they keep calling him the 2C, but is this such a situation like Chicago where, Patty Kane played more than Taze? I don't know. But all three of those guys should be on a power play unit, and it is 8.1K. I mean, this is as low as it gets for three guys who historically are fine. They're all on the older side. But Nyquist has looked okay, and he's 2,700 on the top power play, so you could even do like a mini stack of this Winnipeg line. So I do kind of like that. And yeah, Winnipeg is dead last in the NHL by points right now, which is crazy. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Winnipeg here?
I am a true sucker for going, with a team that is struggling to right the ship. And Winnipeg feels like a really good example of this. I don't think they're going to be overly owned, as maybe you're kind of getting to. They have come down in price mainly across the board. I mean, Kyle Connor is still almost 8K, but he certainly is playing like that type of player. I mean, 9 shots on goal against Edmonton, 6 against Utah. It feels like there's definitely something to his emergence back into that kind of a realm. I've been kind of noticing Mark Scheifele become a bit more of a shooter as this losing streak has continued. I mean, part of it is the fact that they're losing every game, right? I mean, the score effects are going to kick in, and this is the offense line. So I don't really know if there's another way to go other than this top line. Maybe you could try to squint and make a case for somebody, but I don't know who it is. So I am really interested in the top line. I just don't think there's anything else at all here. Morrissey would come along for the ride.
Yeah.
He's, there was an injury concern. He played 28 minutes. So I guess, no, there wasn't. Rates are fine. The same Morrissey we've always had. It just isn't, getting the points that he was getting early in the season.
Yeah, I will say this year he's not really shooting. Past 3 years, he was 41% above league average for a defenseman shot rate. It's 1% above league average this year for a defenseman, which is concerning. But 5,500, the price is falling. I think he's a stacking only option though, for me. And I will just mention, looking at unabated, Gus Nyquist plus 165 for a point. I kind of like that. I like this line. in general. I like the power play, so I'm not a huge Detroit guy myself, and this line will certainly miss the Mo Seider minutes as well, which is quite important and maybe quite detrimental to Connor Scheifele-Velarde, given just how different Detroit looks with Seider Edvinsson on the ice with and without them. So Gus Nyquist is my gold star play of this game. Also 5-1 best on DraftKings for a goal if you really want something spicy.
Yeah, that is
Detroit.
I'm kind of looking through other stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm going. I think no matter what, one of my like whatever nonsense things is just clicking the 5 shots for Kyle Connor at 3-1. Like, I don't know. I mean, the volume has been fantastic, and he's still priced like a not elite rate shooter in my opinion. So I think I'm going for him for 5, or I might take a look at Mark for 4, but I think it's him for 5. That's one of my like.
Seems like I've been on game script more than anything. So I don't know how you really maybe you correlate that with the Detroit point prop or something and try to make it work that way.
Not a bad option. So let's discuss who we pick.
Detroit going Finney, Larkin, Raymond, DeBrincat, Cop, Kane, Casper, Danielson, and I think John Leonard. They basically rotated right wings.
They sent him down.
They did. Okay. So yeah, I guess that did not last. So I think that's JVR then, and I think it was Appleton and Soderblom. So I don't know why I'm doing what you do. Soderblom, Rasmussen, Comfer, Appleton, I believe is their line.
Oh,
so
Appleton revenge game. Shit.
Appleton. Oh wow.
I mean, the line is right there for us. 4th line grinders, minimum salary. Shit.
What I did want to mention is last game they used Edvinsson on the power play too, and not ASP. ASP has been fairly disappointing just in terms of not getting minutes. But Edvinsson does get a ton of minutes. I don't think that the power play 2 is in any exceptional talent or whatever, but I think 3,300 for Edvinsson is fine. Like, he plays so many minutes. We know he's a good fantasy asset. He generates DK points 12% above the league average defenseman. So it's fine for 3,300, I think, with some power play time. Patrick Kane versus DeBrincat, I think, is an interesting discussion at 2,900 separating them. Because Larkin, Raymond, Finney go up against Connor Scheifele-Velarde, it's like they kind of feel like they cancel each other out. And the second line's cheaper anyway, so I like going in that direction. But what is your lean on Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the second line. Like, I don't really think there's all that much to really say about it other than I lean that way. Like, Patrick Kane came back and was basically right back to doing what he was doing before. Yeah. He was shooting a good bit, and that continued. The minutes he's going to play about 18 minutes a night. It's going to be glued to DeBrincat. DeBrincat, I believe, is their best all around, DFS asset, and he's priced about the same as Larkin, who's just a much worse DFS asset. So I just think for kind of all the reasons you're already saying, and like they're going to get the Jonathan Toews matchup, which is just frankly one of the worst impactful players in the league. So I think it's just Detroit 2 or nothing, and that's sort of, I think, honestly a really fun same game parlay. I'll probably price it across a few books, but go Kane for a point, DeBrincat for a point, and Connor for like 5 shots. That type of a situation. Hopefully you can get up to like 7-1 on across some books.
So I'm looking at, because Kane, I think the start the year wasn't fantastic, but in his, I looked at the last 25 games for Detroit, and he's played 19 of them because he missed some time just now. He's averaging 3 shots a game, Patrick Kane, and he's like plus 120 for 3 shots in this matchup at home. Like, that feels wrong to me. So I like Kane a whole heck of a lot. The DeBrincat's, of course, better, and you can, correlate them what you want. But I do think Patrick Kane is truly a guy who, I'm very interested in on this slate from any perspective, be it a one-off or, betting. So he's only at I think 1.4 shot attempts behind DeBrincat. So I prefer the Patrick Kane route here. Well, let's keep it going.
Just one. I mean, you mentioned some defenseman stuff, but is there, there's interest in Edvinsson, but is there any interest in I really, really like Edvinsson, or I really, really like Seider? Like, that pairing seems to just be glued to the Raymond line. So
Mhm.
are you not as interested in maybe playing one of them or stacking or
I'm
whatever?
not. Yeah, I'm not playing Mo Sider at this price unless if I play Mo Sider, I'm playing Evanson with it. Like I truly think that that's
Yeah. Okay.
a viable route, but I'm not doing it myself.
I think that's more than fair. So
All right.
thank you for your time and attention to the matter.
Yes, of course. The great Donald J knows. Um, New Jersey at Columbus. New Jersey, we don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They are in a world of hurt. They just can't score. So last game they started Mercer, Heischer, Timo, Palat, Hughes, Bratt, Gritsu, Glass, Brown, Cotter, Glendening, Nason. I'm guessing the Nason power play one experiment careens to an end, but I don't know. Dawson Mercer doesn't seem like he's helping matters. We know the whole Timo wars have been long fought, but I don't think that he helps a power play one given his skill set. So, yeah, I don't know what New Jersey does. I know you put Jack Hughes on the cover here, so I'll let you take the floor.
I mean, there's kind of the real reason I used Jack Hughes was because I found that picture of Connor McDavid, and then I wanted to find one that matched it, kind of the aesthetic, and I found one of Jack Hughes. But the second reason is he played almost 20, well, just under 24 and a half minutes last game. He did almost nothing. I mean, he was truly like 2 shots on goal, not a whole lot going on there. But I wonder when is the time to buy. And this, I'm not saying this is the right time. I'm just saying that I want to be right at the right time. Keith is kind of too expensive. It's a back-to-back, but it's against Columbus. Columbus has been a team to target. They've actually played pretty well as of the last just few very short stint of slates, but like, is this an opportunity to get a 5% on a smaller slate, like a 7% Jack Hughes, playing 24 minutes against Columbus? Like that is something that at least it is worthy of mentioning. But I don't know. I mean, it feels like a GPP pivot that I'd be interested in. I just don't know if I'm going to have it.
Yeah, New Jersey put up 3.5 expected goals in their 4-0 loss to Toronto yesterday, so I get it. Now, Jack Hughes had 2 shots on goal on
7 attempts. Tom Wilson just put on Wilson. Jesus Christ, it could be Tom Wilson. I mean, he could just at intermission here be commenting, but I believe it's Tom Wilson. Yeah, 7 attempts, tons of like. I mean, there's just like, I think the question I kept having is like, is this cut on his hand? Because if it's on his hand, is that why he has not come back and been shooting? Because the volume is starting to come up again. I mean, it's kind of one of those injuries that is so unknown that the guessing game is one I don't want to play, but over the last few games, he's just nowhere to be found as far as high volume shooters. So that is concerning. I mean, 5.75 attempts per game is not nothing, but it's not the Jack Hughes we know and love, and it's not 8,600.
Yeah, I get that. Columbus has just been fine, and the fact that New Jersey's just refusing to score is like I can't do it. I guess keep an eye out for warm-ups because we'll know before slate locks. Like if it's Gritsuk, Gritsuk, Hughes, Timo, something like that, where it's like, okay, it's way different and it's fun players that I like, namely Gritsuk, just given the price. I think that's the only way that I would really be drawn back in. Because I'm not a Dawson Mercer guy. We've well established that. And Heischer, Timo have just been they've just been so annoying. Like they do all the stuff and never get fantasy points, and it's because the team can't score. And like, do they really score on the road on a back-to-back? Like I'm not seeing it. Shams mentions Hamilton got hurt late yesterday, so keep an eye on that. That's good nugget there. With no Nemec, I guess what that would do is it would consolidate power play time for Luke Hughes, but like, do they call Seamus Casey up? I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. So
Luke Hughes played 25 minutes with Hamilton getting primarily most of the game in. I know you're also famously not a Luke Hughes believer, but at 4,400, if you're playing the Devils, I just think you're including him in that mix. The volume's been fine. The points have been nowhere. He's out there enough to where he could block pucks accidentally. So I have no problem with it. Like this price range, you jump. The Devils are like like I think you're showing and maybe not out loud, but like this is one of the better games on the entire slate, let alone the 6-game nighttime, the nightcapper. So I definitely want to consider the Devils. I don't know how I'd play it.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Also,
Nico Timo, but
I wonder why they can't score when Luke Hughes is one of the worst finishers in the league, and he's taking 67% more shot attempts than the league average defenseman per minute. That is criminal stuff. Someone needs to tell him to just stop. Like, hey, give the puck
Yeah.
to someone good.
and make it the players that I play. But yeah, Nico Timo for me, I think is where I'd be leaning because I just don't know if I want to go the Jack Hughes route with that injury just seemingly lurking overhead. But Columbus, I think, is equally interesting. It's a great game, as we already mentioned. There should be more of a concentration of minutes with top guys. It's not that expensive. Monahan is out, Werenski is out. That brings in other players sort of into the important notes stratosphere or whatever. I think the main one is Denton Matejchuk, who has been fantastic. He has points in his last 4 games, multi-point games, goals, 28 minutes of ice time. He's out there in not maybe not all situations, but he's been a guy that's been very much blocking pucks when given the opportunity as well. So it's not like he's a guy that's only a complete one-dimensional player. I think he has both sides to his game. He is killing penalties, so I guess I'm right on that. He is doing everything, and the pedigree to boot. This is a former 12th overall pick, right? Yeah, 12th overall pick, who has really kind of come into the forefront of being a top guy, playing with Severson and Provorov basically exclusively to eat up a lot of the minutes. He's been a popular DFS play. That should continue here, especially if you're playing Columbus. So anything on Denton Matejchuk or how you'd play this side of the coin?
Yeah, nothing specific. I mean, Matejchuk does feel like a guy that I'm not playing him at 25% owned without Columbus pieces.
Yeah.
But Columbus does offer up some really nice pieces to play with it, namely Marchment, Fantilli, Marchenko. Because of that injury to Sean Monahan, they moved Marchment to the power play one, so now it's fully correlated. It's 15.3K. New Jersey has been fine defensively, but if this game, if they manage to score, maybe it pushes Columbus to do things. We get a bit more of a game stack environment. But the pricing on Columbus is just insane. So yeah, I do think Columbus is among the best plays, just purely considering the price. Where if they get a goal and Fantilli hits a shot bonus or something, you're fine. And then obviously there's upside for them to have multi-point nights. So
I will mention 3 bets as far as the things you just mentioned. Denton Matejchuk and Mason Marchment are plus 420 for a power play point, both from the top unit. And if we're expecting Stefan Nosen to be on the top power play, he's plus 650 for a power play point. I mean, not the most involved as far as that power. Like it's basically a goal, or you get really lucky that the puck comes down low and he taps somebody else. But 3 guys in this game with pretty long odds, worth shopping. Matejchuk is also basically the same odds for a point as Luke Hughes, plus 115 on DraftKings, worth shopping. Luke Hughes plus 110. So kind of these pretty, singular fantasy producing defensemen with decent opportunity in a pretty high game total.
All right. I like those Columbus numbers you just mentioned, especially. Buffalo heads into Dallas. I didn't see lines for the Sabres, though I would be shocked if they moved Jason Zucker in.
Yeah, it would just be if he is back at 100%, which it feels, I don't know, kind of unlikely in my opinion, but not undoable.
Yep. So guessing they keep Krebs, Thompson, Doan, Ostlund, Norris, Tuck, Quinn, McLeod, Benson, Greenway, Dunn, Malenstein. I think Alex Lyon starts, or no, actually Alex Lyon's hurt, right? So it's got to be UPL or Ellis. So okay, whatever.
I think it's UPL.
Yeah, Tage, Doan are 12K together. I Like, Peyton Krebs has 8 expected fantasy points per game last 10, 7 actual. It's not terrible considering, it's a 15K top line with 2 power play 1 guys otherwise. I wasn't expecting to see him at such a decent looking number, though how sustainable is that? Who knows?
He scored that empty netter late. Well, obviously late. It was an empty netter in St. Louis, but I mean that's not the only thing he's done. But
yeah, it's Hockey Viz that counts those like as not expected goals. Like
I believe.
Hockey Viz scores empty netters, I believe, but I think Natural Stat Trick does. So it's possible that that's really inflating this. But it's over 10 games, so you would think it evens out somewhat. Quinn McLeod Benson gets even cheaper, and they've just been fine. I mean, they're 9.6K, 22 expected, 22 actual. 2x of 9 is 18. So you're talking, some room still for them to get a little worse at this price and be totally fine. McLeod's a guy you can leave off, no problem. Benson on the top power play. Jack Quinn on the second power play, but his shooting, he's probably their most reliable depth shooter on the team. So, 3,100, no problem. Zach Benson's gotten a little bit better versus the last couple of years coming in, rookie, second year, third year. Like it seems like he's taking a leap to close to fantasy relevant. And at 3,500, that's all you need, I think, to really get there if he's playing with decent line mates. So as Benson goes, the Sabres team goes, it's all fun, good. DJ was right, except for the part where Benson's not a guy you could actually pick in fantasy.
We don't talk about that part though. I agree pretty good with everything you're saying. I don't think Buffalo is going to make my favorite plays of the night as far as daily fantasy is concerned. Like I think I'd rather play Columbus, but it's mainly because I'm a coward. And it's also because they're playing Dallas, which is a very, very, very tough matchup. It is difficult to pick between the bunch. I really think that I'm on the same side as you as that Quinn, McLeod, and Benson line is just where I'd go. The Tuck, Norris, and Austin line has been fantastic as well. I believe they scored twice, but they should have had 3. Not should have. I mean, Tuck kicked it into the net. But the point kind of standing that line
can't do that. I hear
it's been really good. As like it is kind of similar to Dallas, where it's like there's 2 lines to pick from. At Buffalo, there's 3. They're very different in what you're kind of hoping for or getting out of them, but I kind of just think that you're onto something. Like the Benson, Quinn, McLeod line has way more upside than that price indicates. So I think I just go with that just because I think it's the best price. But Tage and whatnot. Now, the other last note on Buffalo is the defensemen have really all been very good in different ways, and I could, the obvious Rasmus Dahlin of it all is, of course, can go with anybody. There's really nothing to say other than Rasmus Dahlin is Rasmus Dahlin. Owen Power has been playing tons of minutes and has really, really turned it on. I think it's like the shot numbers when he's on the ice have started to reach pretty peak levels of like, holy shit, this is exactly what you were signing up for. And the minutes have followed suit with that. Part of that is the line mate of Kesselring, I think, helping quite a bit. They mix, kind of the Byram, Kesselring, like everybody but Metza plays a whole bunch. Kesselring as well. The minutes don't look unbelievable, but the volume of shots when he's out there, plus the block shots are very interesting. And in a game where they're leading, which really hasn't been the case for the past couple, they've been kind of trailing and coming back. I do think that could bump up. And as he gets a little bit more acclimated, I think he'll continue to see more in that 20-minute range. So not a bad buy at 2,600. So yeah, I think the most impressive part of Michael Kesselring's game is with these fantasy numbers you're maybe seeing here. They're fine for a $2,600 player, but like he has 0 points on the year, 0 goals, 0 assists. That will change. That will come with a blocks bonus. That may even come with another shot bonus. Like he just had one against Boston. So yeah, there's a lot to like on the defense as well.
Yeah, I like that. If you need a punt, the Sabres are a good spot to go defensively. They are all getting engaged in the play. Like they're not stay-at-home chuckers like a Radko Gudas or whatever. You can picture them actually getting involved in a rush and getting a scoring chance that not many teams will allow their defensemen to do, and they're talented enough to take that opportunity. So
it will.
I think
Oh, sorry, no, finish.
I think the main thing that I would look at is the Quinn ladder of it all. He's like even money for 2 shots, and like 750 for 4. So it's a fringe bet, but I do think that's pretty interesting. Because I don't believe these depth defensemen are offered like Samuelson or anything like that.
Probably not. I mean, it's power, but yeah, 750
power.
for 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
12-1 for power for 4. Now we're talking about bets that won't hit. He had 5 against Boston.
Yeah, it's not the craziest thing in the world. The thing about Dallas is that they're just, they bleed shots against.
That's that I know. I really think that we hadn't.
The
matchup
average for how good they are defensively. The fact that they're like bad defensively is crazy, because you just look at them and you go, yeah, that's a really solid hockey team, and then just every day it's like, oh, actually they're one of the worst defensive teams. It's like, oh, okay.
It really is it's kind of a perfect storm of like, I will definitely have shot guys for Buffalo, and deciding on which one is the last step. And I think one of the more upside bets should come through one of these guys, like, Quinn or I'll look through. But yeah, really like that take. Let's move on.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Steele, Johnson, Rantanen, Robertson, Hintz, Bork, Ritzkovian, Duchesne, Ben, Beck, Faxa, Blackwell, Lindell, Miro, Harley, Lundqvist, Capobianco, Petrovic, no Labushkin, it seems like still. So that's that. I don't know. Is Thomas? Hold on. Is Thomas Harley getting a bit better? I'm trying to think of where this was last time you looked at it. Generating DK points 22% better than the league average defenseman. Feels like it's better than he started the year. So maybe he's returning.
The block shot numbers are kind of the thing that I keep coming back to with him. It really feels like he's been very involved defensively. So it feels like you're getting all the upside, and you're getting quite a decent little floor on top of it. The Sabres, as we're kind of mentioning, they will be shooting. We like that side of this. So yeah, I'm pretty in on it. I like the play. I like the price. Nothing else really to say there.
The Sam Steele top line is just so annoying. I mean, we know they're gonna mix and match, so it's not the end of the world, but Johnson and Rantanen have been fine regardless. It's all just power play stuff. And then the same thing we always say, Robertson, Hintz, Bork. Well, Bork's the best of the bad options for wing, and there is a path toward Bork being better than just a bad option at the wing position. So 17.7K for that line versus 17.4K for the top line with Sam Steele. I'd much prefer the Bork iteration. But I mean, yeah, we know what the Sabres have been lately. They've been getting fantastic goaltending. They've been playing just fine hockey.
Yeah.
They've been playing good. It's not like they're just totally running percentages. But Dallas is really good. So if you want to play Dallas, go for it. I'm not seeing anything that makes me think, oh, there's something fancy here that we're gonna, dominate the field with on this slate. So I'm good to move on. If you are.
It's a bad game in general. It's better for Sabres shots, but that comes at a large. Dallas's efficiency is of note, and if the Sabres have been keeping efficient teams off the board, eventually that will snap. So no problem with playing Dallas. I don't think they're going to be that popular, considering the fact that we have a game, like I mentioned, a 6.5 with a monster Colorado favorite. Colorado looks really, really good. They're very much not going to get overlooked, because on top of how good they've been, on top of how good they are, on top of how good the matchup is, on top of how good the sports books are saying, they're also not as expensive as you'd think to fully stack on the top line. We'll start with St. Louis. We have to. That's just the order of operations. The big note here is Jonathan Berggren goes from scratch to top line with Thomas and Buchnevich. He's been awesome. I don't have any problem with him as a punt. I don't think I'm going to put my chips in for Buchnevich and Thomas. Thomas has been great, but man, no thank you. I'm not going to play the second line. Not going to play the third line. Not going to play the defenseman. Not going to play the goalie. Really, up to the only thing I could consider is the goalie, but just because I might not play Colorado, and therefore the goalie could be an option. But yeah, it's a no from me, dog. I've liked Justin
No?
Falk as of late from the point. He's been shooting a lot. I think very, very quietly has 10 goals from the point. So like that's a guy
That's like a
playing a ton.
whisper. I
Right.
mean,
like a guy
you could have
playing
told
a
me he
ton of
had 3, and
minutes.
I would have been like,
Yeah.
damn, that's crazy. Good for him.
A guy playing a ton of minutes, shooting a ton of pucks that has offensive upside is of note. It's about the same price as Thomas Harley, though. So I might just like Harley a little bit more.
All right.
Anything you want to mention here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna clip you saying Jonathan Berggren, fantastic. Robert Thomas, great, and just post that and say DJ's
Okay.
suggested plays today. No, I'm not playing the St. Louis Blues in Colorado. No, thank you.
We go to Colorado, which, as I mentioned, the top line has a 5,400 Landeskog, who is underperforming expectations, playing with McKinnon, which is just truly impressive bullshit. Marty Nachos, who we were like, who might be a good play at 60, whatever, 400 he was last night. Marty Nachos. Marty Nachos goes out, scores us a goal. This, that, the other thing looked just really, really good as of late, and the price is just not reflecting how good he is. And of course, Nate Dogg himself, 10,100, not quite his peak level, but right up there with the rest of them. This line should be the most owned on the slate. I don't think that'd be a surprise.
Yeah, I just clicked on Colorado, and it seems like Devon Tays is saying he might not go to the Olympics because his wife is pregnant, and so I'm like, damn, that's commitment. Anyway, Val Nichushkin was power play 1 this morning. I think they ran morning skate after I updated this, so just checking in on that.
Take off Landeskog?
So hold on, Lehkonen, Nichushkin, Nelson. Oh, so no Nachos either.
No Nachos. Okay. Wow.
I don't see actual lines, which is interesting. Like maybe the second line is just
so it's McKinnon,
intact.
Landeskog, McCarr, Lehkonen, Landeskog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, Landeskog's off.
Landeskog, Nachos off. Nelson stays.
Yep.
That is funny because that is exactly the power play they had out there when they got scored against.
Okay.
I was about to say, like, isn't that what they put out there for a minute and they got scored against? Okay, I guess the coach said good.
I mean, the top line's the top line. It has Nathan McKinnon, but honestly, you're not going to be surprised when I tell you I like McDavid more. That top line is 22K with 42 expected fantasy points per game and 40 actual. Very, very good stuff. Insane stuff. Second line, though, is 14.4K with 34 expected fantasy points per game and 32 actuals. I mean, that is insane value for a fully correlated power play 1 line. You're not playing McKinnon. You're probably not playing McCarr, but like you could.
What are we talking about? Just play him too. Like
or just don't, because
it's a 6-game slate. Just play McKinnon in the second line if you want. Like I don't get it. One thing, I mean, I bet it last game and I'm 99.9 repeated % positive that it didn't come all the way home for me, but Valeri Nichushkin has been shooting a lot more and the role has continued to increase and now it increases even more. So that is a bet that I might take a couple looks at. Definitely for a point. Anytime Val's on that top power play, it feels purposeful. They're trying to find him for opportunities. He's just a very very good at finding the kind of finding the holes.
Lehkonen and Nichushkin, their shot rates have improved year over year by about 12%. So that is pretty nice when you look at shot props or whatever,
Val plus 310 for a power play point, Lehkonen 340. So nothing crazy there.
And it's still the Colorado power play. I'm not overreacting to changes to it because it's still
because they're just going to change it again.
Well, no, it's because McKinnon sucks on the power play. Like it just is what it is.
You're a real son of a biscuit. Minus 148 on DraftKings for a point for Nichushkin's probably making my card. And I may give him a closer look at shot volume sort of stuff, but that is 7-1 for 5 seems a little egregious, but we'll take a look.
Yeah, we're really missing out. Tom Wilson is letting us know from the bench that Tom Wilson just destroyed Noah Leba and scores while he's lying on the ice. That's
Thanks,
impressive.
Tom Wilson, for telling us.
Here we go.
Okay.
Evan with the good stuff. Val and Lehkonen are mispriced on MGM. So if you want to bet power play points, go to
Boop, boop,
MGM
boop.
and get them there.
Wait, isn't Landeskog? Oh, Lehkonen. Okay, good. I thought.
Or sorry, I might have said Landis. I might have said Landis.
You meant Lehkonen. I honestly, my brain barely functions, so you may have been right.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get to Philly, Calgary, Boston, Edmonton, and get out of here. Philly played last night. We only saw the top power play unit for Philly. By the way, they're in Calgary. Tonight it is Konechny, Dvorak, Zegras top line, also top power play. Barkey and Drysdale were the other two guys on that top power play. We did not see the power play two because Jamie Drysdale immediately took a penalty. But I'm guessing Couturier comes off and one of Cam York or Sanheim comes off, and it's Tippett with the Michkov line and again one of the defensemen. So that's worth keeping in mind. It is a matchup with Calgary, so my antenna goes up, I must say. Michkov looked incredible in Vancouver. Was that Vancouver? Was that this line clicking? Was it Michkov rounding into form after a pretty tough go of things to begin the year? Kind of seems like all of the above. Michkov over the last 10 games, his expected fantasy points are right in line with the top end guys on this team, and Konechny and Zegras are 2,000 more than him. Christian Dvorak is Christian Dvorak, and Denver Barkey is certainly a guy who is in the NHL. He seems like a fine prospect, but I'm not losing my marbles for him or anything. And the fact that he's on the top power play is strange. But yeah, this Calgary line or this Calgary team doesn't frighten me. They should frighten me, but I hate it. I hate it, but they are just really annoying. So Michkov train, go Bear.
Agreed. Back to back is tough. It's not the easiest click in the world, as we're kind of saying, but I really do like the top line. I really do like the third line. I've been very high on it. And then as you're mentioning, the second line is an option. So I think when it boils down to it, I'm not going to go this route. I think I'd rather play Buffalo 3 than Philly 3 on a back-to-back, but they're both pretty warranted. They're both sort of the options to get in the full 4-man Colorado, the top line plus Makar, or if you go another way, maybe you can afford something different. But I'd be fine with anything here because I don't think it's going to be chalky to play like Konechny and Zegras when they're coming up in price, but it is warranted. But at the end of the day, I think this game's kind of going to get the X from me.
That's fine. What am I going to say? By the way, Sam Ersson should start for the Darwin last night. So even though it is a revenge spot, they set it up. Yeah, they set it up like that. So whatever.
Idiots. Dumbasses.
Christian Dvorak on the top power play is objectively interesting. He's been playing a boatload of minutes. He's kind of their new Sean Couturier, where it's just no matter the situation, he's trusted to go out on the ice. So if we're talking power play 1, 17, 18 minutes, that probably minimum, and some production as of late, where it's not just minutes. That's fine. I worry about the Coleman Backlund matchup and whatever. We're gonna complain about Boston in just a minute, but it's fine. I think I like Philly more than the average bear though, so that could be bleeding into things here.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm exiting this game off, but I do really, I'm not going to say I disagree with you on the fact that the Flames are bad. I think them being bad may actually add some value to some of these players like Blake Coleman. So I am interested in them for kind of both sides of the coin, more so the betting and the DFS side. Coleman is, kind of right where you want him to be, and maybe using that role to his advantage. They also added Coronado to that line. I think you have that up here as well. And that just feels like the best line on this team. And sometimes that feeling is just worth going after. Coronado not on the top power play sucks, but yeah, I'm not that worried about it. Their power plays feel a bit fluid at this point. And the defensemen are really, really important to this team's success, as I mentioned every single time. So I think going the, Coronado, Backlund, Coleman route is not the dumbest punt in the world. They've been great and no one's going to play them. Yeah. That's all from me
Sure.
in the studio.
It's
And you know what? As a last note, what defensive unit played most with them at 5-on-5? Matt, the answer will not surprise you. It's Ball and Rasmus Anderson. So congratulations to Rasmus Anderson for being the defenseman to pair with that line.
okay. I'm sure he will accept the trophy at our year-end ceremony. Coming off of 4 games of 4, 1.5, 4, 1.5 fantasy points. He's not shooting. He's not blocking. He's not getting points. Have fun. Everybody have fun with Calgary. It'll be great. I'm sure.
And they were all kung fu fighting?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Like, Blake Coleman is a good play, but I'm playing him as a one-off. I'm not clicking Matt Coronado for more money than Blake Coleman with like just a bad role, like not in a matchup role. Like just I don't know. It seems different when he's 34 or 4,300 than when he's 3,400. So that's that. Sharon Govich, Kadri, top line. If you think there's a matchup on Philly to exploit, then that'll be the line that gets the chance to do so. And then Huberto Frost Zari is interesting, but Zari not getting power play time is the unfortunate part. I think he scored on the power play last game though, but it was like in overtime. So I don't know. Things are weird in Calgary. I don't understand what's really going on.
Yeah. Before we jump to the last game and get everyone out of here, I do want to mention that the main slate on DraftKings is like it's 80% full across contests. It does start at 6:30, so 4.5 hours to lock, but we are talking, the $40 contest is about 190 left before that is full. Not 190, 100 left, 101. So, if you have not reserved and you want to play this slate, definitely get in there. Bets will all be posted probably not too long after this for the whole entire slate of action. So keep an eye out for them. I'm kind of betting a couple things as I go. And I do want to thank you. I did grab that Val power play point. It was definitely best over there. And there's a 10% boost on BetMGM that I grabbed. So even higher odds for me. All of that being said, we get to the final game of the slate as I kick my computer. That is the highest total of the slate. That is Boston and Edmonton. It's Pasternak versus McDavid. It is snubbed Evan Bouchard, who now could be added to the team, I guess, in theory, if there's no Devin Taves on Team Canada. Some of the pricing has been interesting. Boston coming off of a loss in overtime to the Flames and kind of reeling right now. Like it feels like it's reaching the point of, hey, like, are we tearing this down and giving up on the year, or are we going to try to get back in the mix? They're not far out of it, but man, does it have to get right. Lindholm, Geeky, and Steves did nothing last game. They barely, none of them other than Geeky were on the top power play. The Minton, Pasternak, Kuzanadinov line. I mean, Minton played a ton of minutes. He did get power play too, but like, I feel like the Boston side is one of my favorite pivots on the slate, just because Edmonton's been pretty bad defensively, and I just have no idea how I'd want to play it. So, how would you do it if you were going to, or are you just not?
I mean, the real answer is I just want to complain about playing Pasternak, Minton, Kuznetsov at 14K in a 2.9 team total at 1% owned when San Jose for a 14K top line was a 2.9 team total and 30% owned. And you'll never guess what happened next.
You won the slate.
Yeah. So Minton played 18 minutes last game. Like that is the top line. Like there's a reason they put Pasta there. And I think that's because they know that Minton's better than Zaka and Lindholm. So they are running an optional morning skate right now. So we will not know lines for sure. But honestly, I'd be surprised if they came off of it after one game because it looked really good. The third period, that line was clicking. I think Pasta like had 3 missed nets or posts that were like, tic-tac-toe type plays. And I was like, holy crap. Like this, like I was sort of looking at it, objectively, I was trying to find, rationalize like, hey, I played these idiots and they're not doing anything. So, keep that in mind. But they were generating. I think they give it one more go at least. And Edmonton's not a team that scares me defensively. I certainly think that, if I play Pasternak, it's because I want to play a game stack. It's not like I think Boston, dominates this game. But Minton Pasta is 11 or 10.7K, which is crazy. I think Minton is good. I think he has some upside for fantasy that obviously he didn't have playing alongside Janot and Kastelich. So I do think I'm inclined to take another swing at the pinata here, to see if some pasta points can burst out of it at just 8K.
Sounds good to me.
right.
Considering,
That's
let's
it,
go
though.
over to the last team of the night, and I will mention that they just ran morning skate. Mangiapane was back. Savoy down with Roslovic and Yemark. So Mangiapane in. It was Frederick Henrik Jones.
All right.
So whatever you want to do about it, but I'm just letting you know that Mangiapane was back on the dry settle line.
Great job, everybody.
For your own knowledge, top line stays the same, all the fun and more. So yeah, Frederick down to the fourth line. No Lazar.
Who gives a crap? Am I right?
Me. Edmonton also this is going to be shocking probably to everybody, but like Connor McDavid's pretty fucking good. He had a really bad game. Now, why did he have a bad game against Winnipeg, Matt? Do you know the answer?
Because they didn't generate any shot attempts.
Because you played him. That's correct.
Oh,
now,
no. I played McDavid when he got like 17 assists. Like that's not that. I do not control power over McDavid like that. Come on.
You're right. It's only McKinnon. So yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I think I'm on the same team as you, that it's like, well, I could find a way to play McKinnon with whomever in the car, but I could also find a way to play McDavid and Draisaitl together and throw in a little Zachary Hyman. And like, that is going to fit with some level of discomfort, but not so much discomfort that it's unplayable. I think, is it unplayable? Actually, it might be. No, it's not. You could
play McDavid. Hey, everybody. Hey, look at this guy. Play McDavid. Sorry. He's on an unbelievable bender. I don't understand.
Okay. No, that's fine. I think you said it all without you said enough. You said enough there. But like, you could play all four of them. Like, that is an option on this 6-game slate. And I will say, the one strategy note, like overstacking on this 6-game slate, I think will win. It's I like Columbus for an overstack. I like Colorado in some respect, and I like Edmonton. Like, if you're going to go, especially I think the Colorado route, I'd go over than under stacking. Like, I wouldn't just one off McKinnon like many will do. And I think it's really the same for McDavid. Like, McDavid 4 or 5 point night is going to bring along someone for the ride. Probably gonna be Draisaitl and Hyman. I call me crazy. Actually, don't. I'm too mentally weak to handle it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't add anything more. Like, if you're not playing McDavid at this point, I'm just a little I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what you need to see from him to be like, yeah, this guy is worth 10,000 DraftKings dollars to put in my lineup for his fantasy point output. So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's shut it down there.
Yeah.
What else did you have in mind for the closeout here? Are you going to do any recaps or bets or whatever? Or are we just doing top stacks? Gold, get out of here.
I mean, I believe we've kind of sprinkled them in along the way, but I think as most people would agree, let me just post them so you can all just look at them and bet them. So I'm going to get to that right after this. I don't know if there's anything that we've covered every angle, every team. I think the recap on the early slate for me is Minnesota as my top stack. The late slate is I'll go with Columbus for my first.
Okay. For the early slate, I will just say I'm not leaving home without a Steven Stamkos pact going up against Braden Bowman and friends. Yes, I respect Jack Eichel, but I respect Braden Bowman even less, and Steven Stamkos will always be Anyone who can shoot like that will always be a moods dude. It's been a while since I've been able to confidently say, but seeing that Adam Vingan stuff that he put together was like eye opening because it was like, yeah, like you see it. I mean, you watch it, and obviously I got burned by it. Like the first time I said he was cooked, and he scored like 19 goals on 28 shots. I remember you won a bunch of money off of it. I was upset, but we watch the tape, we get better, and we come back. So I'll go Stamkos as my gold star on the early slate. Main slate, who'd you say you took as your top stack?
I'm gonna start with Columbus as one of them.
Okay.
Like again, like Colorado and Edmonton feel like you're just cheating if you use them, but if you want to go with Edmonton, I'll allow you to have it.
All right. I am going to go with I'm gonna go with Pasternak and Fraser Minton, and I'm gonna call it the full Boston. So let's do let me take a look. Who would be the third guy? I'm thinking a power play guy. I don't think I want to do McAvoy because if I'm building this,
He's expensive.
I want to play McDavid. Bouchard, I think, is sort of like the the mindset I have. So McAvoy doesn't really make sense. Let's go with Pavel Zacha, 3,400.
Probably Zacha.
Yeah,
he's been legitimately good.
So basically, you're building around
out.
Pasta, and you're getting Minton and 5-on-5 Zacha power play.
Shout out Marco, donating you directly $2 so you can take down the 333 for 331 now. Matt, I will zell you the $2 in advance.
Oh, let's go. I do desperately need that $2 to.
I will say
a quarter jukebox
I
tonight.
Still have never I don't know where this money goes, but it's got to be somewhere for me to get. I have still not seen it. Like I thought I set up my bank account, but I'll double check again.
Yeah,
I did. I know I did. It's probably just hasn't been transferred over. I need to look into that. So I will, but I will make sure that $2 gets to you, Matt. I promise.
You know what I did, DJ?
Canadian. What?
I set it up to go right to System S bank account.
Well, that's where it ends up. Is I
got rid of the middleman.
He's cut up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
Right. What do you?
So I'm avoiding Colorado, Edmonton, of course. I if anyone gets on a show and says that they're a bad play, they're lying to you. Their core is a great play. I think that honestly, when the cards turn over, Columbus and Calgary 3, I actually didn't see this, and I just went and confirmed it myself. But the top power play was Anderson, Huberdeau, Frost, Coronado, Kadri. I kind of love the idea of Anderson, Coronado. I mean, Coleman comes off that top unit, but I kind of like that. I kind of like buying on Coronado at the right opportunity. And at 4,300, this feels like the right opportunity. He's been cold, but let's get him going again. Let's get him back out there against a back-to-back Flyers team with what I think is the most impactful 5-on-5 line.
All right. Well,
and yes, people play them. It's me.
I'm gonna continue living in sicko land. And I'm gonna get even grosser than that. I'm gonna go. I'm going to call it Winnipeg 4. I don't think it actually plays like that, but Nino Niederreiter, Vladislav Nemestikov, Gus Nyquist, 8,100 for 3 players who they've been bad. Not telling you they haven't been, but I think the combination of the matchup where Detroit is so top heavy and so weak defensively down the lineup, the fact that all 3 guys are on some power play unit, I think Nyquist sticks on the top unit. Obviously that could go back to an Aya follower Perfetti. And you look at their, career rates, and they're all fine for these prices. Like this year, it's been bad, but their shot rates this year have actually been okay. Nemestikov and Nyquist are better than past years. Niederreiter's fine, versus, the league average, and they're 8,100 for a 3-man stack. That allows you to play, McKinnon, McDavid. Like if you want to do crazy stuff, like you can do it with these guys, and I do feel like they are objectively meriting, consideration, just given the sort of stars and scrubs nature that I don't think people will play into with Columbus on the slate.
Okay, I had an idea that just came to my head, and I'm wondering if you're interested. What if we both pick 3 guaranteed goal scorers? There's only one guy that the best line is minus money, and that's Nathan McKinnon. Everyone else is plus money or better. So McKinnon would kind of break this theory, but so don't pick McKinnon. They have to equal at least plus 800 for 3 goal scorers between all the games that have still not started. So plus 100 plus 300. No, just in total. It's plus 100, but plus 300 is plus 400. And then you'd have to pick a 4-1.
Okay.
Wait,
Sure.
actually 8 might be high. Let's go 650. 650 sound a little bit
8.
closer.
Well, let's
You like 8?
fucking shoot the moon, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do we want? Yeah. So we have to include someone crazy. So that works for me. There are a couple very obvious crazy picks, but we'll get to them down the road. This will be fun.
I mean,
I like it. I will allow you to go first, and I will also say that stacks are be damned here. Like pick anyone you fucking
well,
want. So if you,
I almost feel like I'm gonna steal from you on this, but Danila Yurov, 6-1.
nope, that's that was the obvious. I like
Okay.
it. I'm fine with you taking him first. Yeah, 6-1 was the best odds on your off.
What I also liked about that is last game it was not Hartman on the second power play unit, it was Yurov. So like it was truly him replacing Hartman's role. So yeah, 6-1 there against the Sharks. I like that.
Okay. I will go with Big Val Tushkin at plus 210. I have some work yet to do, but I'm gonna have to go with somebody in that range, in my opinion. So I will go with Val Tushkin plus 210. And hold on, we said 800, right? Just wanna.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it tally for myself. Brings you back up to the forefront.
Okay. Let's do Patrick Kane.
Okay. Yeah, love that take. That's a really good one.
275 on DK, 300 on FanDuel.
Okay, I will go to. I'll go Jack Quinn. Well, wait, that's going to be way too much. Actually, it'll kind of allow me to take anybody I want. I guess that's fine. Oh, let me look if there's anyone else that maybe is a little bit less than Jack Quinn that I could roll with. I kind of wanted to keep it all in the same sort of bucket, but that might just be my favorite take. Yeah, screw it. I'll do Jack Quinn. I'm gonna go over, but that's fine.
Yeah, if you were trying to keep it in the same realm, because I know what you were going for, you could take Brinket. You could take the Brinket for me over Kane if you want to keep it in that 100 range. Because for my last one, I'm gonna go McDavid. He's scoring here plus money, plus 115.
I will just take Kaprizov then. Wait, you took your off though, actually. Well, whatever, I guess. That's fine. You take I think we're fine with what we did here.
All right.
Kaprizov, Quinn, and Nertushkin. You have kind of I kind of like the levels, right? So I like Kaprizov against San Jose. That's crazy, I know. McDavid for you are sort of the top brass guys, and then it's like the middle tier guys. I have Nertushkin, and you had Kane, and then yours is Yurov, and mine is Jack Quinn as sort of the long odds. That was sort of the goal of this experiment, and it did come to play. So that's how we look at this, and I agree with all of them. Another, Fraser Minton could have been a guy to use as well, as long as that role sticks for Boston. He's 7-1. So yeah, I think we're good here. We'll shut it down.
All right. Yeah. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. I feel bad about running into the stochastic window, but I gotta get moving here because of the New Year's Eve or whatnot. My sister's in town, so gonna go do some stuff tonight. Have a happy New Year, everybody. We will be back on Tuesday for the regular Morning Skate podcast. I'm out of town this weekend, so I don't know if DJ's gonna do stuff, but I am not in the picture. So,
I am out of town, but I will try. I don't think we can redirect. I wanted to look, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that either. So, let's just shut it down rather than try to figure that out. Go check out the Stochastic NHL show though; they do great stuff. Whether it's Josh and Cliffy or just Cliffy, I really do enjoy watching them. Come with different perspectives than I have. That's all data backed and backed by their website, of course, too. So, go do that. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Time to go. Anything you want to say as we head into 2025, DJ? Sorry, 2026.
Yeah, make it 10 in a row, Buffalo. It's all that matters.
All right. Thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself. Have a good New Year's Eve, everybody, and we will see you.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.